Hello, it's Thursday. So a couple of months ago, I released this video here where I showed you how to take any amigurumi pattern and make it bigger without using bulky yarn. Now, in the comment section of that video, a question was asked. Could this same method be applied to make a pattern smaller? And today I'm going to find out. So I'm going to follow the 7 steps to make your amigurumi bigger, and I'm going to use them to shrink Spookitty. Now, my initial thought was to try making an axolotl, but I thought that after last week, you guys might be axolotled out. So Spookitty seemed like the next natural choice. So just like I was talking about in that video, I'm going to work through Spookitty's pattern one piece at a time and follow the 7 steps for each of the pieces, and then just see if it comes together to make Spookitty, but like this big. All right, so for the first page, it's got a list of the supplies that we're going to need. So I'm just going to gather those now. All right, so first up, it says we need yarn, and it says we're going to need it in white and orange. So I have some white and orange, 100% acrylic yarn here now. It says we're going to need a 3.5mm hook. So there we go. Pair of scissors, some pins and needles, some stuffing. And it also mentions that we need some 15mm safety eyes. Now, because we're resizing, I don't think we'll need 15mm ones, but I'm also not super sure what size eyes we'll need. In preparation for this, I have pulled out eyes in a couple of different sizes just because I'm not really sure how that's gonna go. I have 5mm, 8mm and 12mm here, and I'm not sure which ones we're going to end up using, but I am prepared, and when the time comes I'll try all 3 sets and see which ones feel right. Those are all the tools and materials the pattern says we'll need, so it's good to have those ready to go when I need them. Alright, it also says that the finished Spookitty will be about 15 centimeters tall, so I am expecting our mini kitty to turn out at about 7.5 centimeters, but we'll see. Right, so my theory is that this should work. Mathematically it works out, but I do think I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful about what rows I keep and which ones I cut, just because to halve the size of something, I'm going to be losing detail, whereas when you're doubling something, you're gaining rows, so you're gaining detail. And I think I'm just going to have to be very careful about what I choose to lose, otherwise I don't know how the shape is going to turn out. Now, I'm picking Spookitty because last time there were a few comments about how the spider was maybe a little bit easy and that it may not work with all patterns. Now Spookitty's got he's got chain loop detailing for his eyes, he's got pieces that have to fit inside other pieces, he's got some other bits and pieces of different shapes that have to be assembled. So I feel like he is a good test of this process. So I'll be including the pattern in today's video that I follow to make the mini Spookitty. For the actual assembly instructions, you might want to refer back to the original Spookitty video because the assembly will be exactly the same, and I will leave a link to that in the description down below, and maybe I'll link it in the cards or something. I'll make it easy for you guys to find in case you want to make a mini Spookitty as well. All right, so now we get into the interesting bit. First things first, I'm going to be making the sheet part of it, which is the white part of the kitty here. And we're going to follow the steps. So I can see in the pattern here, we start by creating one ear, then creating a second ear, joining them together, and then working through the rest of the pattern. So step 1 is double the number of rows. So for purposes of today, we are going to halve the number of rows. Already I'm reaching my first hurdle because I've got an odd number of rows on at least the first ear. So whenever I have to halve an odd number, I'm going to round up to the nearest whole. So if I have to round 5, it comes to 2.5, so I'm going to round up to 3. I feel like that's the safest option to lose the least amount of detail possible. For the ear, 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3. So step 2 is double the row totals. So again, halve the row totals. Row 3 equates to row 5, and it's got 12 stitches in it, so I'm halving that. So that makes that 6. Row 2 equates to row 3, which has 9 stitches in it, halves to 4.5, meaning that we want 5 stitches there. And row 1 is 3 stitches, which rounds to 1.5, which just isn't going to work for us. So I'm going to leave that first row at 3 stitches. And this is kind of what I mean about I feel like this is going to be a little bit trickier because the smaller you get, the more you have to make more specific choices. So step 3 is fill in what you know. So what I know is that row 5 is just a single crochet in every stitch around, which makes this nice and easy. That makes that 6 single crochet. Now rule 4 is work out the start, and I know that the start needs to be a magic ring with 3 single crochet in it. So step 5, I need to break down what's missing. So what's missing is this row 2. Now, in the original pattern, I can tell that the row 2 is an increase row, and basically we're going from where we started to where we end. With only 3 rows to do that in, I'm going to have to get a little bit more creative with this. So I need to get from 3 stitches to 6 stitches, To me, the only logical way to do that is to put an increase into every stitch and change this row total to 6. I feel like that's going to happen a lot through this pattern. And there is my ear. Now, just because that piece isn't very big, I'm going to try and apply that same process to the rest of the sheet pattern. So I'm going to halve the number of rows. Okay, so here we've hit the first major hurdle with this pattern. You note I only got halfway through halving the totals of these rows before I realized something. So we're halving things. We've got to be more selective. Okay, so this is just a little messy. All right, step 2 done, though way more difficult than I expected. Step 3, I'm gonna fill in what I know. And what I know is that this is hard. What I've had to do is remove a lot of the rows that are super obvious, that are just the same number of stitches around. That complicates this step because it means that I don't know a lot moving into it. And a lot of this is actually coming down to a basic redesign, which is 16 stitches in total. It's not bad. What's my expectation? 14 stitches. So in restoring that function, I've got the same numbers of stitches, but then I've also had to translate where they fall in the row as well. So just a lot of work had to be done to that row to make it a functional row. So in knowing that, I can already basically come to the conclusion that this process isn't going to be able to be helpful to everybody unless they have sort of extensive pattern knowledge. The issue might also be the fact that this does have that bit of complex structure around the eyes, and there are some easier bits coming up. So I'm going to whiz through the rest of the sheet pattern, and then we'll come back and I'll see if it can be applied to simpler pieces like the body piece or one of the legs, and then we'll draw some final conclusions before we finish up. So I have managed to make a completed little ghost costume that looks about right. It's about the right size and it's got all the features that we need in it. Now what I have learned through this process is, first of all, this Spookitty pattern needs a little bit of a review, and I will do that before this video is live. So if you happen to procure a copy of the written pattern after this video goes live, it will be the corrected version, and anyone who has previously purchased it, you can go over to Etsy and re-download if you so choose. This is the very first pattern I ever released on this channel, and it's interesting to go back and review and just see a couple of things that I would like to improve on that. But anyway, so I have managed to make this, and what I have discovered along the way is that once I got past the eye sockets, the rest of the rows could pretty much follow those 7 steps. So I have a theory that it's only the really complex structural detail that was causing the problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the body piece next, and we're going to see if that can follow the 7 steps, because I think it'll be interesting to gauge which patterns this process will work for and which they won't. So pop this to one side. Okay, so this is a simpler piece, and so this process should work for it. So step 1, halve the number of rows. There are 12 rows here. We're going to make it in 6. Great, perfect. So now we want to halve the row totals. Excellent, so step 2 works. Step 3, fill in what you know. Step 4, work out the start. Now, the start looks like the easiest bit ever. We are going to start with a magic ring of 6, then we need to increase up to 12, so that's 6 increases, then increase up to 18, which is 6 repeats of a single crochet and an increase. So now I need to go to step 5. So I've actually made it to step 5 for this part. And for step 5, we are breaking down what's missing. So the only line missing is row 4. Now row 4 on the pattern translates to row 7 or 8. So I can see that I'm trying to increase from the previous row up to 21. So I want to increase from 18 to 21, which is 3 stitches that we want to increase, and we want to increase evenly. So we know it's 3 repeats of something with an increase in there. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. So we know that we need 5 single crochet and an increase, which will get us up to 21. And then we've got our 2 rows of 21 and we can finish off. And that's going to work for the body. So the reason I keep skipping steps 6 and 7, step 6 is fill in the gaps. We are losing rows, we're not gaining rows, so there are no gaps to fill. And row 7 is to add color and loop notes, and there are none in this particular pattern. So I'm going to just basically apply this process to the rest of the pieces and build them and see if they all can fit together at the smaller scale. So first I made the body. Then I made the tail. I applied this process to the front paws and the back paws. And then I made the eye pieces. So now I've made all of those pieces, I'm just going to stitch them together. Now, once again, as a reminder, the assembly notes can be found in the original Spookitty video. Right, so what I've learned today is that more complex structural details you can't really apply this to because you need to be too careful. Each stitch is too important. But for basic patterns that aren't using negative space elements, this process should work just fine. So let me know in the comments, what design would you like to see made bigger or smaller next? And there he is, half the size, but twice the rage. Okay, so that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. A written version of the Spookitty pattern is already available in my store and available to my patrons. I'll still leave a link to both in the description down below, just in case any of you have missed those and are looking for them now. But other than that, like if you liked it, comment if you've got something to say, subscribe, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye. So let me know down in the comments, do you prefer to make things smaller or to make things bigger? No, that just seems like a really loaded question.